Okay.
All right. All right, this meeting of the Bisbee Design Review Board is called to order by Lori Gunnell at 5:30 p.m. on May 1st. No old business today.
Roll call.
But we'll do roll call, yes we will, thank you. Okay, Bob Kroof.
Here.
Peter Gaffer.
Present.
Lori Gunnell, here. John Guy.
Here.
Ben Lepley.
Here.
Doug Taylor.
Present.
Ted Schriever, excused. Frank Davis, excused. Emmanuel.
Yeah.
And Javier.
Here.
Okay, great. Skipping over old business since we have none, going right to new business, agenda item 1, application 24-25 513F Baileyville. If you can step up to the mic up here. Now that mic does tend to fall down quite a bit, so don't feel bad if it happens to you.
Thanks. Hello, everybody. My name is William Boats, and I'm pleased that you've given me this opportunity to kind of talk about what we call our outdoor project. And our outdoor project in the application is pretty weighty, I have to admit. There were 17 items. I guess the good news is that the majority of those items were administratively approved, and now there's only 6 of these items left. And that would be the exterior doors, what I'm kind of calling a picket fence, but it's really more for screening purposes than for fencing purposes. Screening in our upper balcony, address signs, our proposed outdoor shower, and also mini split locations. And because there's 6 different items here, I don't mind if anybody on the board interrupts me while I'm going through these.
Yeah, go ahead and go through
questions.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, so I'm going to basically limit my discussion then from now on the 6 items that have not been administratively approved and are still before the board. So start off with exterior doors, and if you look in the applications, this pertains to figures 5 through 8.
Sir, that was the item number 4 on your...
Yes, this will be item number 4. It refers to figures 5 through 8. And to start off with, you know, I just wanted to give you my general philosophy about the approach that we're taking with our application, in that, you know, we believe that we live in a modern house. It's a contemporary style. And I go to great lengths in part 2 of the application to explain why. And because of this, you know, it is our opinion that if you live in a modern house, you ought to be allowed to have modern features. And so long as these features aren't, you know, bizarre or maybe totally out of scale with respect to what's in the neighborhood, we believe that the board should have some flexibility in its consideration of what we want. So with respect to these exterior doors here, if you take a look at the existing doors, which are shown in figures 5, 6, and 7, you'll see that none of those doors actually look or resemble the door styles that you find in the guidance document. And therefore, you know, in our opinion, these are contemporary doors that we would like to replace with a contemporary door style. And that door style, in our case, is basically a panel door with a single half-moon light near the top of the door, and the door would be made of fiberglass.
So Bill, all 3 doors would be that door?
All 3 of those doors are going to be in that basic style.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, you can continue.
Okay. Item 5 of our applications concerns the picket fence, and there's really 2 issues going on here. And again, it's not really so much a fencing as it is for privacy screening. The first one I want to talk about is figure 9A.
Can you hold on 1 second? So where's the picket fence in this list? It is, I'm just looking.
It's item 5.
It says hot tub.
There's a hot tub. That part was actually approved, administratively approved, but the rest of it deals with the picket fence. And that part was not administratively approved.
Thank you, Ben. Okay, thank you.
And that's why we want the privacy screening, because there's going to be a hot tub in that location. And parts of that back patio would be visible from the street above our house and potentially the street below our house. But anyway, there's an existing patio wall, and that, if you look at figure 9A, you'll see a lower wall there with a gate.
Yeah.
And that existing wall is 3 feet 7.5 inches tall. And what we want to do is we want to raise that wall 1 foot 11 inches, or almost 2 feet, to a total of 5 feet 6.5 inches. And what we're going to do is we want to make this all out of wood, and it'll look essentially like a miniature picket fence going across there, if you can envision that. And that wall that we're going to raise is only about 8.5 feet long. Then the next set of picket fencing, which is the bigger set, 32 feet long. I'm showing some details in figure 28. And in that situation there, that picket fence, you know, in our minds is very similar to the what a simple picket fence is that's shown in the guidance
We don't
document.
have a figure 28 in here. It ends at 25. Are we missing a figure?
Oh, there were some additional figures that were asked for
Oh, I see.
that were provided later.
Oh, okay, so,
It was included in an email with Amanda sent.
oh, okay, okay. Oh, yeah, I remember that, yes. All right, continue.
So anyway, this is about 32 feet of fencing that would go across essentially our backyard, and would prevent people from being able to look down into our back patio area from the road that goes above our house. And it's just going across just part of the yard, because I guess that whole distance on our property is probably about 150 feet across. There, we're on a half-acre lot. Okay. Item number 11 was screening in our upper balcony. And this pertains to figures 16 and 17. And I didn't get any preliminary questions about what the board may be concerned with regarding our upper balcony screening. But what we want to do is utilize what they call the screen type system that basically maximizes the use of the existing porch structure. I don't know how many people on the board are familiar with that product, but basically what it is that there's a what they call a base plate that curves along like strips, and you screw those to your posts that hold up your porch, and some horizontal components across your porch that are existing, and then these plates have grooves in them so that you can use a rubber spline and attach your screen. It's very similar to how you would put together a screen for a window. And then there's a top plate that goes over that, makes everything look good. Yes?
So this is for a screen, like an insect screen, not a screen visually?
This is an insect screen. And it's because in our neighborhood, the mosquitoes in the summertime get so bad that you can't sit outside. And so anyway, one of the reasons why we chose this particular product is that, again, we want to minimize any new structural elements that we would have to put up in order to hold the screen, and also that would, keep the view as open as possible. Because the whole point is to be able to look out and, see well, we like to watch the turkey vultures coming in the roost area.
We all are.
Excuse me.
Yes,
So are you planning on mounting the screen inside the rail? I mean, it looks like, I see this, this sort of picket rail, and is the screen going to be on the inside of that, or are you planning on the outside?
it'll be on the inside.
Okay.
And because that'll make it a lot easier to install than having to get up on ladders and scaffold.
Thank you.
Now, there will be some additional minor structural elements that'll have to be built because we're going to have to put a screen door on the north end. And obviously, there's going to be a need for some framing to hold that screen door in place. Item 12 was our address signs. Our address signs that we're planning on using are less than 1 square foot in surface area, and therefore, my understanding of zoning code, they're exempt. They're so-called exempt signs. There are some rules that in zoning code that do apply to exempt signs, but the main point here is I probably shouldn't have included them in this application because going back to the zoning code, it's my interpretation that these kinds of exempt signs are not actually subject to review by the design review board. So I'm here to answer any questions that you might have concerning the address signs that we want to use. But again, you know, they're less than 1 square foot. They're just going to have our house number and our street, or just our house number on them. They'll be posted at different locations, but access our house so that the contractors and the UPS people can find us.
Okay,
Okay, item 16, which should be addressed by figures 23 through 25. This is our proposed outdoor shower. It's going to be, the structural elements of it will be constructed of wood. It'll sit on a concrete pad, and it will be clad with corrugated metal. The drawing that you have before you is a scale drawing. It's only going to be about 8 foot height maximum, 7 feet long by 4 feet wide. And it's going to sit next to the wall of the patio.
okay.
And then finally, item 17, which concerns mini splits. I provided an additional figure 27, which I hope you have. And that shows 3 locations where we believe we can put the outdoor components of mini splits. One of them is where the existing heat pump is today. The other 2, one of them's on the north side of the main house, between the main house and the guest house. There's a flat area there. That's the good news. The bad news is because of the way the house is constructed, anything that sits up there could probably only service the 2nd floor of the house. And that's a lot to do with the fact that our house has vaulted ceilings all through it. And vaulted ceilings means essentially no attic access to a lot of the house. Then there's 2 other places that would be potentially good for putting mini split locations that would help with the, it should be adequate to deal with the first floor of the house. One is over there on the southeast corner of the house, where there's a small flat spot. It is visible from Bailey Hill, the road. But again, we have very few choices. And then the pad where the current heat pump sits, it's also visible from Bailey Hill Road. But again, I mean, there's nothing to be done about that. I don't know how many people made it out to take a look at our property. At least 2 of them did. We have this situation where the topography is pretty steep. We live on the hillside there. And the house is pretty much like two-story everywhere. Even in areas of the house, it's only one floor. Below it's kind of a basement area, so it elevates it, and so it's very high up. And on the south side, there's no room to put anything there anyway, because there's a retaining wall only about 5 feet from the edge of the house, and it falls off into the living room. So there really is just very few places, in my opinion, that we could put mini split components that would also provide for easy access, relatively easy access, that they could be serviced. And that's what I have. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay, well, we're going to continue on. Thank you very much. Appreciate the presentation. And we will have a board discussion, which you will be privy to. And before that, we have public comments. So you can have a seat. We'll call you back up if we have questions, okay? Thank you, Mr. Moats. Any public comments for or against this application? Now is the time to speak. No public comments. Okay, staff comments. Javier?
There's a lot going on. Just needed some of your guys' guidance on this, so
Yeah.
thank you.
Do you have any opinion on mini splits placement?
I mean, it is steep, there. I wish they could be screened on any road, screened or blocked if they're seen by any road. So if that's possible, maybe we could recommend that. Any type of screening.
Because it's down from Adams,
Yeah.
right? So like even from Adams, you probably wouldn't necessarily see it unless you were looking over the side of the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if they're visible, really visible, we'd screen them. I think
Okay,
that's all.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to board discussion.
Yeah.
Did you have any comments?
Sure.
Yeah.
I went out there today, and it's quite a trip. Wasn't sure I was going to make it back. It's a very private setting, and because there's so much going on, I wanted to put it in context, to understand this. There are a few things that are visible from the road, but to me, it's more a trail, maybe used by the locals. It's, in my mind, not the traditional historic home like we would think about in Bisbee. It strikes me as sort of a 50s, 60s style. It may have been, earlier something else, but it's not now. And, looking over all of the items, they seem very reasonable to me, in good taste. And, the air conditioning units, the split units, I think if they are visible, they're pretty unobtrusive. In one case, you'll be removing a pretty big old heat pump, and this is a lot smaller and less obtrusive than what's already there. I think, it's a lot of emphasis there on privacy. It has some great courtyards or private spaces, so I understand why you would want to raise the walls just a hair. Again, from the outside, this is on the hillside, I think, you got the big rock wall there, or gabions, I think there in this case. So to raise that wall a little bit will be almost unnoticeable because you're looking at the big retaining wall there. Other than that, that's all I got.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Anybody else?
Sure.
Yes.
I can't really tell what historic character is left of the building aside from a few silhouettes and shapes. And so when I look at this and all other applications, that's what I'm looking for, is historic materials, historic essence, and that, to me, seems long gone in this building. So, you know, if they're replacing a new door with another new door of a different style, style doesn't concern the DRB really. It's about the historic character of what's going on. And that, for this project, seems like it left a long time ago, possibly even before the DRB existed. So I don't really have a whole lot to argue about here. Yeah.
How do you feel about using a colonial fanlight door in such a rectilinear facade?
I mean, personally, I don't like the fanlight door at all.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be, you know, like, hey, it's not replacing a historic door, you know, 3 light or 6 light typical Bisbee door with 2 wood panels in the body. It's not replacing that, so.
Yeah. So it's
I
a
mean,
personal preference on there.
Yeah, and for me, like, the personal preference thing is too wishy-washy to, it just causes issues, in my opinion, so.
You know, I think the doors are relatively inset, you know,
Looks
they're
like it.
visible by the residents, but not much more than that.
If I may address
Yes, you may.
Mr. Moats, I saw that you have 2 choices on your fence. And one of them is, I think, cedar and the other's pressure treated. Is there, I know I would prefer the cedar, but, and I don't know why you have 2. Is that just for us to choose from one of those?
Either choice, the fence will be painted, so it's not gonna look like a cedar fence if I use cedar.
Okay.
You know, the purpose of choosing those 2 wood types is they just hold up to the bugs better.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yeah, I think because this is a non-contributing structure, and that has possibly undergone a lot of change over the years, and you're replacing, you know, somewhat like for like with the doors. You're just having a consistent style instead of 3 different doors that are modern. I don't really have an issue. I also think your location is pretty private already because you go down Bailey and, I mean, if you're hiking on Adams, yeah, you can look down and see the house. Or if you're down below, you could look up and see part of it. But, yeah, I don't necessarily have a problem with this. You're doing a lot of stuff to make it your own, which is fine.
Laurie, if I can just say one thing,
Yeah, go ahead.
just to compliment the applicant on putting together a good package.
Yes,
Describe
absolutely.
all this and walk us through it, and made it able to have some of it administratively approved, which very often we don't get that, so thank you, appreciate it.
Okay, if we don't have any other questions or comments, do we have a motion?
I'll make one if I can get this
Ye-
right.
Yes, go ahead.
I would like to approve DRB application 24-25 for 513F Bailey Hill as proposed.
I second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All against say nay. Okay, we have 6,
Okay.
oh yeah, sorry.
Well, just point of order, do we have to say those items which have not already been administratively approved, or would you note that?
Oh, the 6 items that have not been
Well,
administratively.
we're not approving absolutely everything, because Javier has already taken care of it. I don't know
And
whether
that
that has to
has been approved, so.
Yeah, does
maybe
that-
it's a moot.
Don't worry about it. It's
Yeah,
okay.
because it, you know, he'll,
Okay.
we're not gonna step on Javi's toes.
Oh, no.
All right, so application number 24-25 has been unanimously approved. Thank you for your very nice presentation. Appreciate it. All right, moving right along. All right, agenda item 2, application 24-30, 2 Naco Road, and that is a mural. Is there anybody here to speak to this application? Oh, I have to, yeah, anybody here for that item? Oh, it must be you.
My hearing's not too good, so I'm not sure what you said.
Oh, we are on agenda item 2. If this is not your agenda item, it's the mural at 2 Naco.
No.
That's not yours. Okay. So it looks like there's.
Oh, I'm sorry. Phone call. We gotta call the person.
We're calling Carrie?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like sitting here looking at it, and I'm like, wait a second. I have a phone to call. And okay, we'll do it.
We're making a phone call.
Let's do it.
This is kind of a famous building
Yep.
on the DRB.
It is.
It's kind of a what now?
Famous building for the DRB.
Oh, really? Hello, this is Emmanuel with the City of Bisbee, and we are at the Design Review Board meeting, and I'm just calling you to look at your application. So we're all here as a group.
Okay.
And if you want to, go ahead and...
Okay, so is this Carrie?
This is Carrie.
Hi, Carrie. Lori Gannell here,
Hi.
Chair of the Design Review Board, and the rest of the board is here. Did you want to go ahead and describe your application to us? We have it, but we'd like you to present what you would like to do.
Yeah, well, I'm the artist, so I kind of have limited information as far as the mural. My father passed in June, and he owned the old Tool building in Old Bisbee. Our renters are artists, and she wanted to do a mural on the bottom part of the building. We went about it totally backwards, didn't realize that we needed to get a permit, so here we are, kind of backwards. She started it, and I believe she sent you the mock-up for the rest of the mural that she'd like to finish on the building if possible.
Yes, she did.
Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, that's all the input I probably have.
All right, well, thank you. We do appreciate it.
Yeah.
If you want to just stay on the phone, we're going to talk it through right now.
Okay.
Moving on with this item to public comments. Is there anybody in the room that would like to speak for or against this application? No? Okay. Moving along to staff comments. Javier, anything?
This is on a historic building, a commercial one, so it has to come before you guys. Painting on the brick should have been brought before you too in the front of the facade. I mean, I had a number of calls on here that's on this specific one, so.
Okay. All right, great, thank you. And then we will move on to board discussion. Looking at the, let's see, the second page of this email. I don't know, I think it looks pretty cool. It doesn't bother me, it's paint, and it always could be painted over.
Yeah, I drive by there every day,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a really ugly wall at the end
It
of the
was,
grade.
yeah.
And I think it's very tasteful, and it's in tune with the thing that people enjoy about Bisbee, so I think it's in keeping with what's already been done in Old Bisbee. I'm not 100% sure if it meets all the technicalities of what a mural can be, but I'd say it really adds to the ambience of the city.
Thank you. Yes.
So I think some background into why the DRB is reviewing murals and doesn't review paint unless it's on old brick. And I believe it's because of the old brick. If you paint old brick, it traps the moisture inside and dissolves the mortar and the brick. When that water gets trapped behind the brick, can't evaporate out, and then there could be ice and it explodes the bricks. And that's why I believe that we review murals and paint to make sure it doesn't happen over old brick or stone. And I believe there is stone on this facade. But where the majority of mural that's painted is stucco. So I don't believe there's any issues with painting stucco.
Yeah, and it was already painted, I think, before
Right.
she started painting over it.
Yeah, I believe the stone was already painted too.
Yeah. So it's a
The
kind of
stone.
an ugly paint.
I think the stone, it shows right here in the picture that it wasn't painted, and
Oh,
now it
really?
is.
Are you talking, is this what you're talking about? Oh, yeah, the rust color?
Well, the stone in the
It
front
was this,
was never painted,
this was painted over.
but that
Oh, I
was,
see what you're saying.
Yeah.
but the front, I was more concerned about the front of the facade.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And the mural is subjective to, it's art, so it's subjective.
Right.
So, it was a tough one.
I do think that we could approve the mural with, of course, the bad guy. But I think we should require the stone to be uncovered.
I agree
Okay.
with
Yeah.
that.
Especially being the facade, it's like,
Mhm.
it takes
Right.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a bigger problem might be effervescent, the concrete and substrate coming through the mural. So I've done that in my house, and it's coming through.
Well, I think, and what Ben was talking about was spalling pretty much, right?
Yeah.
The free, you're holding moisture in on I don't know if that's, it looks like an unusual brick, but it might be stone, I don't know, but I think it's at risk with that paint on it.
I think it's flagstone, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Is it flagstone?
It's like
It looks
1960s.
terracotta color.
1960s modernist style
Yeah.
horizontal flagstone.
What would you have to do, sandblast it out in there?
Probably an acid, or that chemical, what's it called?
Muriatic acid?
No, that actually damages you more.
Yeah, I was gonna say something.
No, it's a paint dissolver, paint stripper. Acetone. Casco. Acetone. Oh, yeah, you could do acetone too.
Knock half the city out.
Yeah.
Well, you made the point that
Yeah.
Okay, so that would pertain to the facade of the building where there is stone, we don't know exactly what kind.
Yeah, the front facade.
It's pretty sure it's flagstone.
Yeah, I mean, the window, of course, can stay, but the stone, clean that back.
Yeah, the window's not.
Anybody else have thoughts, comments?
Just a question, and not being an authority on any part of this. So the flagstone 60s, 70s-ish, is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, I saw the modernist version of this horizontal flagstone kind of started in the 30s, along with the streamlined modern aesthetic, which is what the convention center is downtown, is streamlined modern. And it kept going until, I would say, about the 70s, just that aesthetic. But I think this building was very ornate building, and it was remodeled to what you see here right before the DRB was formed. And I believe because of how this building was remodeled, there was a big uproar and it created the DRB. So,
Interesting.
yeah, I think it was like one of the things, that's right around when the mine shut down. A lot of people were tearing down old buildings, and this was one that was remodeled pretty badly, along with the restoration.
agreed.
Yeah.
If you look at the brown area that hasn't been painted,
Yeah,
see that, I call that effervescent,
yeah.
that can happen to a new mural unless you compare that with like Kills or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least with stucco, you can repair it, and then you repaint it like with like. You can't do that with brick.
Yeah, and she would because she's actually in the building, yes. I'm sorry, who are we talking to on the phone?
Carrie.
It is Carrie?
Carrie.
Yeah, okay. And she's Carrie too, right?
Yeah, I know, it's so weird.
Yeah, that's what's confusing me. I'm all confused now. Okay. So, but she probably, if that did start happening, would touch it up.
Yeah, or it's part of the character.
Yeah, or it becomes part of the character. Okay, so anything else, Mr. Gaffney, you have anything?
No, thank you.
Okay, would anybody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that application 24-30 to Naco Road be approved for the mural with the contingency that the blue paint on the facade will be removed. removed in a non-damaging way.
I second that.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All against, say nay. Okay, application 24-30, Carrie, is approved unanimously with a contingency.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All
Have a good
right,
day.
thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right, moving right along to agenda item 3, application 24-33, 223C Youngblood Hill. Yes, come on, yeah, right up to the podium. Where'd the mic go? Is it?
Oh,
Manuel.
microphone?
Emmanuel?
I got it.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. All right.
I have tinnitus, and
Oh,
so if you can speak into your microphones, that should be okay.
okay, will do.
It's different with every room, you know.
Yeah.
So thank you for this opportunity to present our idea here, our plan. We have a rendition by one of the neighbors there, Fred, up the hill. If you look at the addenda, that's where the maps and the layouts and the photos are.
Got it?
Okay. I wanted it to be 14 by 12, but there's a property line issue, so I changed it here as 12 by 12. And I'd like to stay with the 14 if I can get you to see the situation I'm talking about. It's one of these border deals where it looks like we have all this land, we have a fence and everything that's been there for 100 years, people use it for 100 years, but a city line sort of goes through the middle of it. I'd like to build right up to it and not worry about the setback, because there's nothing there except our use for the building's used for the last 100 years, you know.
Yeah, I think we can approve or not the application, but that would probably be a zoning issue that wouldn't be in our purview, going up to that line. Can you hear me? Okay, come on over. I said we can approve an application for the aesthetics, et cetera, and materials, but it would not be in our purview to determine if you can build up to that line. That would be zoning.
Okay.
Yeah, so that would be when you go to get your permit, they would tell you whether or not you can do that. Yeah.
That would be some later thing.
Yeah, that'll be a later thing. Yeah, our purview is gonna be, is this deck appropriate?
Okay, great.
Yeah, for the aesthetics of Old Bisbee.
So it's not gonna be locked in stone, it'll be 12 feet then?
Well,
You're gonna take it to a planning and zoning hearing.
Right.
yeah, and they will tell you if you can do 12 by 14 or 12 by 12.
Okay.
Yeah,
That'd be after this though?
after this.
Okay.
Yes,
Good.
yes, okay.
So, we do have the, if you can see sort of a map with the deck on it, you can see that right now I built it with this, or we designed it with the setback. That's a 12 by 12. It would have concrete footers, wooden support beams, wooden structure, composite deck with metal railings, and it would be traditional, conservative, fit into the area. Our house is sort of a hybrid house. It's partly a miner's cabin, and then around 1967 it was expanded out with a lot of concrete, and then aluminum siding was put around the whole thing, and it's like mint green. And we would also sort of like a light color for the deck, just so that the sun wouldn't heat it up so much, you know.
Yeah, so color is not our purview either. Whatever color you use is up to you. We don't determine that, so just the structure itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Okay. All right, so we'll we can continue, and we'll call you up if we have questions.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. All right, great. So from here, moving on to the public hearing. Public hearing is open. Do we have anybody who would like to speak at this time for or against this application? Is there a written comment?
I do, yes.
Do you want to read it into the?
Yeah, I'll read it to the record.
Yes, thank
Okay,
you.
this is from Hunter Backrack in Charlotte. So regarding the proposed deck at 223C Youngblood Hill Avenue, we would request that the DRB approve construction of the deck as described. It appears to be attractive, entirely suited to the location, and will provide an additional egress safety measure to the occupants. Thank you, Hunter Backrack in Charlotte.
All right, thank you very much, appreciate it. All right, I will now declare the public hearing closed and move on to staff comments. Javier?
I wish the deck had a little bit more, better visual of what the railing would be like. I kind of see here. I mean, but I see it. I don't know, I think the deck would be pretty nice and fit into that area.
Okay, thank you. I will now open the board discussion. I'll go ahead and say something first. This is a non-contributing structure. This seems like a pretty simple, straightforward deck. I don't personally have an issue with it. That's where I stand. Anybody else?
Yeah, it's attached to the 1967 attachment to the 1917. I'm just documenting it's growing in one direction. And then in 50 years, maybe he'll do something else. I think it's fine.
Anyone else?
No.
Okay. All right, do we have a motion?
Sure. Make a motion to approve.
Can you speak into the mic?
Sorry, yes.
Thank you.
I make a motion to approve application number 24-33 as submitted.
I'll second.
Okay, seconded by Mr. Lepley. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All against say nay. Okay, your application is unanimously approved, 6-0.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And you're gonna follow up?
I'll get with them. I've been up there already and looked at it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, moving right along. You are finished. If you don't have to stay unless you want.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Agenda item 4, application number 24-36, 34B Brewery.
I'm Amy Smith, and I opened a business there in Brewery Gulch, the Mactown Mercantile, and I wanted to hang my turquoise fiberglass calf as kind of like an art installation sign type deal for the store. So you got a whole little packet on it.
Okay.
Like I don't know what. And then
All right.
I guess there's a sign in the window too that's also handmade that I also did. But like everything in our company is like kind of handcrafted and artsy and kind of, I don't know. I just bring a little flavor to the Gulch, so.
Okay, I think most of us have seen the
You've
turquoise
probably
cow
seen it.
hanging
I'm
over the
pretty,
store.
Oh, is that what that?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be grand opening party. I hope you were there.
Yeah.
Good time. So, anyways.
Okay, thank
Thank
you,
you.
appreciate it. All right, moving on to public comments. I don't see anybody would like to speak for or against this application.
I'm for it.
All right, we have one person who says I'm for it.
You better be.
He wants to go home tonight.
Okay, staff comments?
This one was just tough. I don't know where, it was a tough one to administratively approve, so I would like to see what you guys think.
Yeah, okay, great. Moving on to board discussion.
If I could, I feel that signage is a unique item that can be removed. It was a jumble of stuff at one point in town. I think that, you know, almost anything goes as long as it sort of fits in the realm of the district, but I don't have any problem with it.
It's an object, and there's some really famous object signs, like in Hollywood, there's a giant donut.
Oh, yeah.
And we've got Jimmy's hot dog, we've got the giant hot dog. So they kind of become landmarks in a way, and they are removable too.
Yeah.
So it's
Anybody
cute.
wants to know, it took me 5 minutes to get that.
Well, you should have said it too.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm just delegating, you come down.
considering all the work you put in, I would feel terrible declining it up, no. But I think it's really cool, and it goes, I mean, it's the Mad Cow store, so, I mean, come on. I like it,
Just funky enough.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve application 2436 as submitted.
I second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against, say nay. Okay, the ayes have it. Application, I gotta find the number again. 24-36 is unanimously approved. You're good.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving along to agenda item 5, approval of the April 3, 2024 Design Review Board meeting minutes. Do we have a motion? I make a motion to approve the April 3, 2024 Design Review Board meeting minutes. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Cross seconds. All in favor say aye. Aye. All against say nay.
I abstain,
Okay,
because I
and
wasn't at the meeting, I don't know.
Mr. Gaffer abstains, so it's five in
I
favor.
abstain too, because I didn't review the minutes.
Okay, so 2 abstains and 4 ayes, so the minutes are unanimously approved. Okay,
Are unanimously approved?
sorry, 4 to 2,
4 to 2.
Well,
yeah.
Well, no,
Four
I'm
to-
not against it. I
Just
abstain.
4
just for,
and 2 abstains.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to figure it out
There's
myself.
that one guy.
My guy.
He's never satisfied.
Ah,
Okay, so then we have agenda item 6, approval of the April 10, 2024 Design Review Board Point of Information meeting minutes. And these are the minutes from our SHPO meeting, yes? Okay. I make a motion to approve the April 10, 2024 Design Review Board Point of Information meeting minutes.
Before we go
Yes.
into approval, do we have, so I do have a comment.
Oh, okay, well, go ahead. Yeah, I mean, it's not in here that anyone needs to comment.
Okay, so as part of the presentation package, they've included the matrix that Doug was so nice to put together that shows.
Yes.
That's not approved, and it gives the appearance that it may be approved in the presentation. There's no verbiage that says this is not approved.
I think we'd have to, no, Emmanuel, tell me, we would have to vote on the minutes the matrices as separate items, right? Whether we want to
Yeah.
incorporate these matrices into the guidelines?
yeah, you still need to work on them. And
Yeah, we need to work on them. And I think that SHPO's opinion was that they were too strict, and that we could be a little bit kinder to the homeowners.
Right.
Well, I
approach to
think he's
things.
talking about how do we exclude that from approval
Right.
of the minutes. We can do it as contingent upon not representing that. I mean, we can make some verbiage that said,
My concern is if that presentation hits the public airways, it would give the appearance that those are approved. If that presentation's in there, there's a lot of good information.
But we didn't have a vote on approving or disapproving those matrices in that meeting.
Exactly, so
We did not. So that would not, we're not
and no
approving
one
that.
has been.
Yeah, we're not, I mean, I'm guessing you're approving just
Just the minutes.
the minutes of that. You're like, okay, this is what happened, right?
This is what happened.
This-
We're not approving the matrices because the matrices were not voted on.
This is what happened, this was what was shown to the public. I mean, there were lots of other things that were shown that are not part of our guideline either, so.
Right.
They're like examples of good projects and bad projects.
Yeah, and in fact, the only reason those matrices really came up, it was SHPO that brought them up, and they showed they have their own sort of grid and, explanation of things, and then they felt that we could revisit our matrices and perhaps be a little more lenient with them.
Because that's part of their guidance for us, is that's what they're obligated to give us guidance as per the federal guidelines.
But we have never voted on those
That's what I'm
matrices
saying.
either.
We
so
didn't vote on them before.
We weren't presenting it to SHPO.
And we weren't presenting it to SHPO for a vote, so it's just that we talked about them, but that's it.
Yeah.
They will not be approved because we approved the minutes.
Right, but the presentation itself, and that's my concern, the presentation is something that is being made public. And
Well, the presentation does not include our matrices. Our matrices came up in the discussion, but SHPO had their own presentation.
So what Nina sent for the presentation does include that matrices, it is in there.
Yeah, she sent it, but it wasn't what SHPO
Yeah,
presented.
that was the PowerPoint you're talking about, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's really just, I think, just a review of what we talked about.
Mhm.
I mean, there's been no, that document really didn't, I think,
Well,
have, what's up?
I mean, if you approve the minutes, what procedure, I don't think we've ever had anything where we've struck anything out of the minutes, but what would be the procedure to strike an item like the matrices from the minutes and say this was not,
I don't understand why we would need to do
I
that,
don't know,
because
I
they
think
weren't
that's what he
voted on.
wants.
If they were voted on and approved, that's another subject, but they weren't.
It's more the perception becoming reality when somebody sees it in an official presentation, it's a SHPO presentation. What I saw, I wasn't at the meeting, and I wish I could have been, but the presentation that was sent out had that matrices in it
Okay,
as our guidelines.
And is that the one that Doug,
Yes.
did?
it didn't have it in there as our
I
guidelines.
think Nina did say it wasn't voted on and it wasn't said.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
wasn't.
and did you happen to see the video?
I did not see
Okay,
it.
because it doesn't seem to me that it was anything but a reference point.
That's-
This is
that's
information they had gathered from us. And I don't see that as a problem, but I understand the perception thing.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering if there's a way to exclude.
Those,
I can make a motion and say with the understanding that
Yeah, that would be.
the matrices presented by the design review board in that meeting were never voted on or approved.
I don't think that that document that Nina sent to you is public record. Like, it's not an official record, just you know what I mean? It's not, like, we're not posting it up on our website or anything, or as a part of the
Yeah.
minutes.
That's a valid point. Figure-
But what is public record is the YouTube video of the meeting in which that matrix shows up, which we would not even be allowed to remove that if we wanted to, because it's our
Yeah,
public record.
that part's true.
And Nina does say that these are not approved, they're not voted on or approved.
So I think all the disclosure is there already,
Yeah.
and I think you should watch the video and try and learn kind of how the SHPO rules work.
Yeah, it was a really great meeting, we enjoyed it very much. Once we were there.
Yeah, it was great.
The minutes are very succinct,
Yeah,
and that's what we're really voting on
That's
at
all we're
this
voting on.
point.
Yeah,
Which just says that there was a presentation,
mhm.
and it doesn't say there was any votes taken or any
No, nothing. was-
resolutions made or anything else.
That's all.
that's right. That's right.
So, I was gonna abstain anyway, because I wasn't there, but it doesn't seem to me what was done is done at the presentation, what was said was
I
said.
think only 3 of us were there, right?
Yeah,
But it's smart to cover, like, it's.
Yeah.
But we don't have a quorum, there's only 3 of us that were there.
Yeah,
So I mean, it's almost like this is,
Yeah, point of information,
Yeah,
right?
that's what it was,
So, I mean, I would, yeah, I'd recommend, if you haven't seen the video, at least skimming through it. Because it's pretty, yeah, definitely, I loved it a lot.
so, but you know what I'm saying, 6 of us are voting and only 3
So,
approved.
yeah.
Because only 3 were there,
Yeah, so,
it ain't gonna
yeah.
pass.
You're gonna need
There you go, we're off
you
it.
don't have to have been there to approve the minutes.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion that we approve the April 10, 2024 Design Review Board Point of Information meeting minutes.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Lepley. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All against, say nay. Any abstainers? And 2 abstain. So it's 4 in favor, we have a quorum. The minutes from April 10, 2024 are approved. Okay.
Can I still talk about that item after the motion?
You can, when we get back to future agenda items, we'll let you talk about it, because it may not even be one, but
Yeah.
we'll do it then. Okay, staff comments?
None.
Why, thank you, Javier. I see you've been busy, and we
You
appreciate
have
it.
dinner waiting?
He's got dinner.
No, I have a group of softball girls waiting,
Well,
Grippa?
but they're fine, they're in good hands.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we have future agenda item suggestions. We're not necessarily discussing them, but Mr. Lepley, you may have something you want to bring up.
Yeah, I would like to add an agenda item for the next meeting for each of the DRB members to watch the video and then to discuss the video, because we had such low turnout. For people who had other plans, it was an odd time. It was like 4 p.m. in the afternoon or something like that on a day that wasn't pre-scheduled, so definitely lots of reasons to not be there. Nonetheless, a lot of effort was made, and so the agenda item that I'm suggesting is for people to watch the video on their own time, and as a board discuss the items, and possibly if we can have a slide deck of, because there were some examples shown that are not in the video, maybe.
You mean a slide
The
deck?
PowerPoint.
The PowerPoint.
Yeah, I know, but of what exactly?
What they were showing?
Oh, the bear
That's
short.
probably not the video.
It's not.
Oh, yeah, but you received the deck though, didn't you? The PowerPoint?
Yeah,
Yeah, you got it.
no.
I didn't see
You didn't get
it.
it?
I saw the video.
Oh, you did, okay.
And I knew what they were talking about.
Okay, so we'll have a discussion in a future meeting on the meeting.
I mean, because we can send that to you. It's a PDF of the site of the deck, which Amanda, I believe.
We
sent
can
out.
discuss it in a future meeting, just for the benefit of everyone who didn't get to be there, because it was really good
So-
and very helpful.
Do you want to discuss it at the next DRB meeting? Okay.
I think if it's a light agenda like today,
Mhm.
yes, but if it's a heavy agenda, I would.
We'll table it, table it.
Yeah. It won't be so light.
If this session is any go by, Javier is beating us 3-1. So
Yeah, he should form his own DRB.
He's doing all the work for us.
Yeah, and I want to make sure if I ever do something wrong or it's not right, let me know too if you guys see it, because I want to make sure I'm doing it right.
Yeah.
And learning the process too. And I want to preserve the historic district, so.
You know, when you make an administrative, it is circulated to us.
Yeah.
We do have that opportunity.
All right.
I'd like to make a comment.
Yes.
I would like to task Mr. Stewart and Mr. Rodriguez with seeing if we can increase the fines for someone who tears down a building without permission. Right now, I think it looks like it's $75, and that is not lunch for the crew that
That's less
tore
than
it down.
DRB.
Yeah.
And I would like to see something that has real teeth in the thousands, like, can we do $15,000? When I was Director of Community Development in Massachusetts, I fined a developer $40,000 for tearing down a motel that was historic.
Wow.
And I think that's a lot. We went by square footage, but we need teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree too.
Thank you.
Okay,
I've got a comment as well, or maybe
Okay.
for future. It's right along with what Ben was saying. You know, I thought the workshops that we had are great. I don't think we're quite done. And I think this falls right in the middle of that. And maybe we can rationalize the agencies that get together at the same time. because I don't think they match 100%, but we ought to talk about it.
It might actually need to be a special session.
Yeah, I think so.
Where we can all just
But I
go
feel-
talk about the SHPO
I feel
presentation.
open-ended on it, and I thought it was really a good process.
Okay, great. All right.
Thank you.
I would like to make a motion to adjourn this meeting of the Design Review Board, May 10, 2024. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All against say nay. Okay, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
And we're going off to a softball game? Is that what?
No, it was just practice. But Emmanuel, can you turn that off right there?
That example, because some